I don't know. They just have like, they got a vibe to them. They don't look like completely trash maps. They remind me of Black Ops 3. They were ahead of the curve on the gambling thing in games, bro. They
Hey, dude, you bet your own coin.
Can you imagine now if they're like, oh, you want to go and buy COD points?
You want to bet real money?
They would make a killing. Back then, you couldn't do any of that. It was just in-game currency.
You and I are going to go dumb hard to win. Like face-offs, $1 buy-ins, $5 buy-ins, $10 buy-ins. We're not losing.
Payday, we're like, Justin, $50. Let's do it.
And knowing that you can withdraw that or like use those points towards like buying exclusive skins or something like that. Or this would be cool. You withdraw it for PSN dollars. Use that to buy the next game or something.
You could go and use it in the store. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 240 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike.
I'm Justin.
Justin, how we doing, bro?
Doing pretty good. Happy Monday, you know. It's been a long, like, past week. I feel like we did talk, but we didn't. It's only been a week.
Yes. There's some weeks where we go and we're chatting throughout the week because maybe there'll be some news that is coming up or whatever, or just outside of gaming or whatever. But yeah, this week, bro, this past week, and then even this week, I mean, it is just, I was telling you, just giving you a hint. I mean, man, I got so much going on. I hate it. I feel like every time, you know this, it's like you get over one hump and I'm like, oh, thank God that's done. And then someone's like, hey, we're going to be doing this. Can you be prepared? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, bro, just let me live. I'm like, can I just do my job for like a week? And that's it. It's always something, you know?
It never ends.
Yeah, it never does end. But, you know, it's part of what you got to do. You know, what are you going to do? You can only complain about it so much. It's not going to matter. But I was going to say, too, we didn't even really talk about this. I threw it in the notes because we did see it a couple of days ago. We got some Black Ops 7 stuff that came out regarding the maps, which they just kind of dropped this randomly, like showing some of the maps. And like, I don't think they had much gameplay regarding them. There was a little bit. But yeah, even something like that, we didn't text each other being like, dude, you see the new Black Ops 7 maps? Like, holy shit. Like, these are terrible or these look really good. So that kind of explains what kind of week we were having, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I think we're at the point, too, where it's like, if we don't see gameplay, like, yes.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Well, like, I looked at it, obviously, like, it did get me a bit excited. Just based on the screenshots, I'm like, these look like good maps just off the picture. And then there was like a video too where like the lead developer and like senior developer and like someone else, like they're talking about like, you know, yes, we're focusing on 3-lane maps. That's where we're going back to. Someone asked a question about the CDL and they actually mentioned the CDL, which is huge. Then, you know, they confirmed remastered maps were coming back, which, I mean, everyone already knew that, but they threw like subtle hints, and like one is a CDL map or a competitive map from back in the day. And she was like, it's going to make you feel like you're the best in the game, which is like an homage to Scump. So everyone knows it's Yemen if you've been watching for that long. And yeah, they answered a lot of good questions, which again, I still need to see gameplay. I need to touch the beta, but I am glad that they already talked about it and got ahead of this, saying that it is 3-lane maps. But she did say that there are a couple maps where they're not all 3-laned, which that's totally fine. And that they are trying to stay true to like what COD was back in the day. And the fact that they know what 3-lane maps are does make me happy because, you know, I feel like obviously there's a bunch of turnover in like the past like decade over there, and that 3-lane style might have been lost somewhere, but it seems like it hasn't. So
yeah, I think it's good that again they are recognizing that, because you are right. There's always this idea just in gaming and in general, but specifically with Call of Duty now, where ever since they made the shift since MW 2019 regarding gameplay and with maps, that they want to try to do the same thing. They're always trying to innovate on what they've done, where there's certain things, just as maps in general, have been broken for years. And we haven't had really a good map set, I would argue, probably since Cold War. Um, so now that they are making sure that everybody knows that going in, my excitement, again, I'm not trying to get too excited because we got to see gameplay. I have to actually be holding a controller and trying it, but it goes up a little bit. Like, I'm like, okay, they're on the right track. They know what we want, hopefully, but it's going to come down to execution on the newer maps. And yeah, to your point, I don't mind if they have a couple of maps in there that are going to be a little bit, I want to say experimental, but are just a little bit different than the normal formula that's been followed. But it's a problem if they go and they introduce the map saying, "So we tried something new." It's like, no, like please don't. You know, if they want to give us a couple, I'm fine with that. Because then we can decide in that map pool of what they say it was going to be like. It was going to be well over 10 maps. I wanted to say it was like 16 or something around there. Like I
Yeah,
could be wrong.
total. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to say
total
it
map
was like
16 or
oh
18.
yeah, it's something like that. Like
Yeah,
total maps.
right. So if
Mhm.
they have a couple of maps by that point that are in this realm of experimental and they don't hit or they do, then that's fine. Um, but yeah, they need the core maps that they're going to be adding in here good. The remasters are good, no doubt. But I believe those are going to be kind of drip fed to us as the time goes on. And to that point, I wonder how they're going to work that in with the CDL because we had that this year with a lot of maps that were added in. Um, like added in just in general to the game, but then competitive was so slow to react to it, and they didn't really get nowhere near as many additions as like when I think of MW3, that game had way more of the maps coming from like their new additions in the season into the CDL, and those ended up being some of the best maps. So I don't know how they're going to try to work that out this year.
Yeah, I wonder if they go the route of like we already know like Raid's coming, Yemen's coming, like we know the core maps that are going to be remastered. I kind of hope they just go the route of like here they are like just right at launch like Cold War. Um well actually no, Cold War had its own maps at launch, but then they did release like Raid and Standoff like later on.
Express.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Express. But I want to say it was like really quick. Like they did not wait that long to release these. And I do hope they, the more maps the better. I've like reiterated it so much. Like if they just give us all the remasters now and then all the new maps that they put out, like whatever, the 18 that they said, and then if if half of those are good, to be honest, that's a core like number of maps. That's 9 maps that are insanely good, and then you pick out of those 9 what can be competitive or not, and then through the seasons just put out like 2 to 3 new maps.
Right.
The more
Yeah.
maps the better, because not all of them are going to be good, which is fine.
Yeah, and you also got to think too, like with the remastered maps that they add in, those guys hopefully know, and maybe they have, coaches that have actually played on those maps back in the day competitively, that those maps are all viable. Like, or most of them, I should say. A lot of the remasters I'm talking about, when they add those in, no one's going to be debating, oh, is Raid going to work for this? Is Express going to work? It's like, yeah, it works. Everybody knows
Mhm.
it does. So there's no testing and having to make sure, like, let's try it in multiple modes and this map doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z. I think most of those, I hope at least most of those remasters that they add in, and some new ones as well. The new ones are going to take a minute, but I want to see way more of that in the CDL. I like to see the change in landscape from day one of the CDL compared to like what you see at champs.
Mhm.
I like seeing a whole new map set. Because it obviously makes it more enjoyable to watch, but there's also certain teams and players that like work really well on a certain mode and a certain map. And if you're just doing the same ones all the time, more often than not, the team that sucks on a map, they're always going to be like, inferior to other teams on that map. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and like we know, like you said, we know that Raid works, Yemen works, Express works. So if you have, well, I think right now they have confirmed officially 3 remastered maps will be coming.
Mhm.
but they've hinted towards Yemen and like all those other ones. But those are viable for competitive. I hope they just throw them in there. And that's like 4 competitive maps already, which
Yeah.
is better than what we already had in Black Ops 6.
Right.
So, and if they can add like another 5, like the bigger the map pool for the CDL, the better. Because, like you said, there's going to be, this team that's good at raid, but then they're awful at one of the new maps. And as the season goes on, it might flip. Like they practiced on that new map, got really, really good at it, but now they slipped in raid. And it just gives like more variety to the viewers watching. And
Right.
like it's not like, oh my God, we're watching the same map again. We at
Right.
least have like 1 out of 9 maps that we can choose from, which like
Right.
that's a lot. Like realistically, like we're not going to have the same um, map set like for every series, because for the most part, Black Ops 6, it was always the same map pools for every
Oh,
team.
dude, the amount of vault S&Ds and vault hardpoint.
Controls,
Oh, it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like
It's just
I got
over and over and over again. Whereas
yeah.
like if we had like 9 maps in the pool set, like that's a decent amount. That's a lot. It's not, obviously they're going to be repeats, but the amount of times it will be repeated, it won't feel as much compared to this year.
Yeah, and you won't get as much complaining from the viewers and from the
Mhm.
players because every year I hear dude, if I have to play one more vault hardpoint, would like name your map where they say that, and people were hating on Rewind. And then, shortly after everyone's like, dude, thank God
Yeah.
Rewind is back in the rotation. Um, it's just down to again not having enough maps there. So those remasters will definitely spice things up just because everyone knows they're good right from the get-go. And I hope again they add, hopefully some of the other maps that come in that are their originals are viable, just to get a better map pool. And I will say, I saw some people talking about the remasters and how they like reimagine them. They just like redesign them, and people weren't liking it. Dude, I don't understand that at all. I think those redesigns for those maps are perfect. It's
Mhm.
exactly in the style of the game that they're making from what I've seen, which like we'll talk about that Vault edition that they redid as well. But I feel like the aesthetic of that game, those maps, how they redesigned them, it fits perfectly. People wanted them completely untouched, which I don't really think is that big of a deal. And I think it's kind of weird if you were going to be playing that game. Like, imagine you played Black Ops 2 and this is the exact same map,
Yeah.
and all the problems with it. I mean, we had that with MW3. It was like, carbon copies of those maps, and it really doesn't matter that much. But there's a fine line. You got to find where like these reimaginings work because they did that with, they butchered WMD from Black Ops on this game. And like that redesign makes no sense. They completely changed the whole vibe of the map, and it doesn't hit the same. We're
Mhm.
looking at those maps when I see them, I'm like, yeah, that's Express. No one would question it. If you looked at the WMD from this game, you wouldn't initially think that, you know?
Yeah, and I think the key thing is they just need to reskin the maps.
Right.
Don't add like any extras, like an extra heady somewhere where it wasn't in the original, or an extra lane or a piece that you couldn't go through than like what it was in the original. But reskinning the whole thing, yeah, I agree. Like this game's gonna be colorful and bright. Reskin it to that. I
Right.
don't think it really matters if it's like a pure, replica of the original map. If it looks better to what the game is now, like just do it. Like people are gonna get used to it. Even if, in raid, we all know the layout of raid. But let's say they reskin that map completely to in the middle of a jungle or something, right? It's like a temple or whatever. That would be
Right.
cool to see. Like, it's worn down, run down. Um, and there's grass everywhere, like on the ground, moss growing, whatever. But it's still raid.
Right.
It's just colorful, whatever. I don't know why people make a big deal out of it, but I will say with the remasters, I think it's good that right in that video, the lead developer was saying like they understand that people want these remastered maps and they've already mentioned CDL. So the fact that they know about CDL, and again, Treyarch has always they've been the one developer to push for competitive COD, and they like support competitive COD. So I think the fact that they even spoke about it in the video and they're aware of these maps were competitive back in the day. Like, let's try to replicate and mimic maps like that for the new ones that we're creating is a good sign. Again,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them their props, but I need to wait for this beta. But I would be lying if I said that I'm not like excited for this beta. I haven't seen any gameplay, but everything that they're saying has been good. Oh,
Yeah.
and like one random thing, he mentioned we got rid of all doors because people don't like manual doors. I'm like, look at that, look at that.
I
No
mean,
one
bro.
asked,
No one
so
asked for them in the first
no one
place.
asked for it. Yeah, and he was like, we understand. We just got rid of them.
Yeah.
That's all we
Now
needed.
dude, it's all those little things that add up, you know?
Mhm,
Again, nobody wanted those from the beginning, and then for some reason they just had this notion that everybody enjoyed it, and they just kept adding it in every time. I think the only thing that they're gonna have in this game is like on some doors in Black Ops 6 where they're just like they automatically open,
mhm.
things like that.
Which
I think they're gonna
we've already had.
yeah, we've already had that, so that's fine. I'll deal with that. As long as we never go back to the Vanguard era of like having doors in general, like slight, like breaking the door and like
Mhm.
finding a little like whack ass spot to be shooting from. Um, they hopefully they learned their lesson from that. Well, clearly they did in this direction, but I hope
Oh yeah,
COD, like all the other developers, they see this and they're not like, "What are these guys doing? Like, we need to
yeah.
continue, man. We
It's
need to go back to what we had." But that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, it's interesting that the way that Treyarch goes about it is all right, they've learned that the players don't like doors, just regular doors in general. And they just got rid of them. And
It's like they listen to the feedback, bro.
yeah, and they've always had, in COD, there have been automatic doors. In Black Ops 4, you walk up to the door, it opens and closes really quick. But those doors never like hindered like gunfights and things like that. I mean, if you kind of suck, then like yeah, but they're like open and close really quick. It's not like, and you can wall bang them too.
Right.
Whereas in these games, they're literally regular doors, and you just bust through the door, and then you can bust through back, and you're just like going back and forth, and it makes a loud noise, and it literally impacts your gunfight. Where it's a problem. I will say that at least they got rid of like all the breakables for like Sledgehammer. They went that route, but they just kept the regular doors. No, just get rid of all doors,
Right, right.
everything. Just walk through. We have just put glass there or something.
Rip
Breakable
that
glass has
Band-Aid
always been a
totally
thing.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
they
I'm glad Treyarch is going that route.
I am too. It's hard when they have one direction that they've gone towards for so many years and they just want to slowly inch away with that. Again, it's like the tax printing. I mean, it's the same deal, you know. Now they're just totally getting rid of it as a main thing in the game and being like, okay, it's going to be a perk, which we will have to see how that works out regarding like how it's going to be balanced, but that's one of those things, bro, where they're still holding on to it. They're like,
I feel
"Whoa,
like
it's a perk. It's a perk. You could still use it
yeah,
if you want." But I'm hoping the next game,
yeah,
everyone's just like, "Get it out."
yeah.
Nobody wants it. Don't even give us the option of having that.
Yeah, I feel like that this is Treyarch's way of like cheating, the system of you need to have tax sprint at this for this year. And they're like,
Right.
okay, there is tax sprint, but it's not the
Right.
core mechanic of this game. And making it a perk, at least from my thinking, kind of just eliminates tax sprint completely because there will be a perk that's better than that.
Right.
And I think this is the best way to like handle, from up top if they're like, you need to add tax sprint into this because of Warzone and Treyarch, they always, again, this is a game that I think they wanted to make, not Black Ops 6. And this is their way of, all right, like we're going to do it our way though. We're going
Right.
to make it a perk. It's in the game. This is our loophole to it. to
Right.
satisfy the people up there.
Right, and when they have, Blackout 2, I wonder how both of those are gonna combine, you know, like, how people are gonna feel when they go and they're playing Blackout, and then they go and play, Black Ops 7. If there is gonna be a big jump, or if they are gonna play exactly the same way, um, that's what's gonna be interesting to me, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in the Warzone community that like the way things are right now, but I honestly don't know how they feel about tax printing and all that stuff. I would assume they like it just because of how the game plays literally compared to what multiplayer is. Um, but I wonder if that side's going to be kind of pissed off if they end up having it be the exact same in Blackout, where yes, it is a perk. You can't just automatically have it. Um, I wonder how that's gonna fare as time goes on. If people are gonna be wanting to play both or be like, nah, screw this. Like I'm only gonna be playing Warzone now because of it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think that since Warzone and Blackout are going to be two separate game
Which is so
modes.
weird. So
Yeah,
weird.
but I like that. That means like Treyarch is they're standing the line. They're
Right.
holding the line, and they're like, no, no more Warzone. We are making our own BR, and it's going to be better. Like again, I might be biased to Treyarch, probably am, but I'm probably gonna have way more fun with Blackout than Warzone
Well,
because of I think it will be the exact same feeling from multiplayer to Blackout. I think tax sprint will be a perk, and at least based on what we've seen, again, like I'm gonna have to play it to really feel it. But I think getting rid of tax sprint and just going back to the normal like sprint, no matter unlimited sprint, um, it'll feel quick, like just as quick with the tax sprint.
yeah. Yeah. Do you think this is gonna be like a pivotal time where Warzone is under threat and this could be the beginning of the end for Warzone?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Warzone has been going through so much right now, and the fact that again, a Treyarch's putting out Blackout, and they probably had to pitch this. I'm sure they had to, and they're like, we're not making a game to integrate with Warzone. We're going back to our battle royale because I mean, Treyarch was the one that created Blackout. This was before like battle royale was even really big.
Oh yeah, they were trendsetters, no doubt.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they're just going and making their own BR for this game, and I don't know what's going to happen after that, but I think Warzone and Blackout being separate is a good thing, like a real
Definitely.
good thing. I think it
Yeah,
really shows the divide. Like Treyarch is standing on business now. Like we are
right.
not doing Warzone.
And I wonder what the execs think about that. The fact that they've gone and done this. Obviously, they agreed to it. You know, they had to have. Um, but I wonder what's going to happen with the community. There's just going to be like there was the Warzone side and there was just the multiplayer side. Now there's going to be the Warzone or the I can't get my fucking hands fixed. They're gonna have the Warzone side. They're gonna have the Blackout side, and they're gonna have the multiplayer. You know, so does that mean they're gonna have more people playing, or is it that they're just taking their player base that they currently have and instead of having them in two bases, now spreading them across three?
Mhm.
Um, which I think that'll happen, but I think there's going to be people who, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who stopped playing either one. They stopped playing multiplayer or Warzone, and they're gonna find some enjoyment out of one of those, like out of Blackout or
Mhm.
out of the multiplayer that they're developing. Which
Yeah,
that would be the ideal situation. They just get another third party in there, but they bring more people in.
yeah. I think you can see it that way, or see it as Treyarch is coming in, and they're like, it's Warzone, and then it's Black Ops 7. There is no multiplayer. There is no like, yes, there is multiplayer in Blackout, but like if you're playing our COD, it's Black Ops 7. It's going to be an
Right.
easy transition from multiplayer to Blackout, and you got to decide: do you want to be on Warzone or do you want to be on the Black Ops 7 like Treyarch side?
And I'm always going to
Which
be on the Treyarch side.
yeah, and I'm all for that because again, I think we'll have way more fun if Blackout is the exact same thing as multiplayer, just
Mhm.
BR sense. And I think it will. Um, so, and that is solely because it is separated from Warzone. I think they're designing it from scratch, like their own BR. And that's the case. Treyarch is setting, a trend and a precedent again that they are the lead developer in COD, and that whatever the next year, the 2026 COD, like either you do it this way or you guys should, try to do something like Treyarch where they stand on business and stand on their own like feet of this is our game mode and this is the game, you know?
Right.
Um, that's what I think. And I haven't seen anything, but I really hope this year in general is like Cold War or like Black Ops 4. Like when I sign on, I'm like, all I want to do is just play for hours. And I'm just having fun pub stomping for hours. And then I sign off. And then I can't wait till the next day to sign back on to play again.
Right. I really hope that this game is like it sets a new precedent for where COD is going and the direction that's going. Like you said, I love how you just say like, oh yeah, it's not multiplayer and it's not Blackout 2, it's just Black Ops 7 because already in the multiplayer from what we've heard and what they're talking about, they're already kind of going against the grain of what COD has been for the past handful of years. Um, and I think that's great. Most people would agree that that's the right thing that they should be doing. Um, and then same thing with Blackout too. If they end up applying a lot of the same things from the multiplayer and putting that into Blackout, which could be totally different than what's going on the Warzone side. If they end up drawing people away from Warzone, which for me this would be the best, is because they like people who complain about Warzone, they find out that what Treyarch's doing is working, and that's the best way going forward. And then once the Black Ops, well, this whole like series ends or like this cycle of the game ends, now it's going to be in the court of some other developer to be like, okay, well, we at Treyarch, we already set the precedent for what we're trying to do here. Everybody liked it. God willing, I'm hoping everybody enjoys the game. It's like this is what worked for us. It's up to you. If you want to go and try to steal some of our ideas and keep that going, then go right ahead. Which I hope that happens. I hope a lot of the stuff that Treyarch has developed, everyone's like, yes, this is what we're talking about. This is what we need. We need more of this instead of the other developers being like, well, we did this 4 years ago and people like this. So we're going to go back. Tax printing is back. We're going to add this. It's like, that would piss me off so much if they ended up doing that. And it
Mm-hmm.
would just boil down to what we like people have said for over a decade. It's like Treyarch is the true developer of COD.
Mm-hmm.
They're always trying to put us in the right track and get the game going in the right direction. And I hope all these other developers just follow suit and do the same thing as them so that we can finally get, a string of games here that are actually solid and not like, us hoping and praying this year that this is going to be the COD and oh no, it's going to be next year and so on.
Yeah, exactly. And the last great COD that we've played was Cold War, where we hopped on and just wanted to play all the time.
It,
And
it
we
was the
had
best.
we had 7 maps in that game. That was it the entire year.
Hmm.
And that was the most fun COD that we've had in years. So again, I think that Black Ops 7, it will be a really good game, and Treyarch is already putting out, really good content and already, you know, talking to us about like what they're putting into the game. But the beta needs to come out, and we have to
No,
play it.
dude. I
The
know.
the gameplay will be coming out soon, I'm sure, and then then it's beta time, and we can actually play. And I really hope we get on the beta and we're like, wow, this is what
I,
we've been waiting for.
I was going to say, they did announce, yeah, the beta is going to be from the 2nd to the 8th.
Mhm.
Which, dude, that's just crazy to think about it. Like, we're doing this on the 15th of September. Like, bro,
Mhm.
it's coming around the corner. It's less than a month away.
It will
We're
be
gonna
here
get that.
soon.
Yeah. And then the game's launching on the 14th of November. Like, this game's closing in, bro.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
surprised how little has come out about it. Like, we're getting pretty damn close to this beta, and we're just getting a handful of maps right now with no explanation about them.
Mhm.
I pulled up the link that I had sent you. Like, and this is gonna be a big thing for all the pros and everything. There's no hardpoint rotations marked on there. There's no SND bomb locations. So that's going to be a huge thing. People are just going to look at these maps and see these rotations and be like, nope, next.
Mhm. And
Or
you
they'll
know
be
what's
like,
funny?
okay.
Yeah, this is what it used to be. This separated the smart players from the bad players. And
Right,
all it is memorizing.
right,
Like
right.
it's I'm like, I don't care either way if it was in there or not. Like, oh, go here, go there. Because obviously that's helping out the casual player of like, oh, go here and do the objective, right?
Hmm.
But as you and I know, it doesn't matter how much you tell a player, go hop on that flag. They're not gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
No chance.
you're not going to tell a player how to, the objectives right here, go and do it. The majority of them won't go and do it. But I do like that, you know, they're taking the training wheels off. Now it's just back to what it is, and at the end of the day, it's just memorizing where the next hill is, and anybody that plays COD, like, it just naturally happens. Obviously, the more times you play every single map, um, and that's when like all the strategy comes in too. Uh, it's not like, oh, there's like 15 different rotations. I hope that it's like 4 to 6 hills, if that, on like every
Yeah.
map. That's good. Um,
Yeah. What
yeah,
was it that we had in 2019? Wasn't it like
dude,
endless
it was
hardpoint
like
rotations?
18 hills or
I
something.
was gonna. I didn't want to sound crazy, but I was gonna say 15.
Yeah.
I almost remember it being something like that, where it was just like London docks. You're like, dude, have these like reset yet? It just kept going and going, and that's where,
Mhm.
like, for me, I have no idea how that's even possible that those developers made that, because that's not even listening to the community. That's just not even looking at how Hardpoint has been for years. You
Yeah, that's
know,
what I'm thinking. You know what? Let's not even have, the rotations reset. Let's just have new rotations throughout the entire game.
right,
And
right,
there is, if that's the case, there is no strategy to that. Well, in the
right.
beginning, obviously there will be at some point, but imagine like, all right, we're rotating the hill 12. It's 230 to like 200. You need
Right.
to set up for this, you know,
This
this
P16.
P16 rotation or whatever.
Or if it was completely random too, that'd be
Oh, if
insane.
it was random, yeah, there
Oh
is
my
no
god.
strategy.
Yeah, it's not none at all. No, it would be pretty heinous, but even with, when they do put the rotations in so people can just see them on the maps, like, on the overview of them,
Mhm.
um it's different than when you just see them on there compared to actually playing them, because some of those maps, they may have multiple levels, or you kind of have to figure out, how big the actual hill is itself. Um, which, again, none of that information right now is present, so you don't really know what's good. Um, but like you were saying earlier, I don't know, bro. Maybe it's just, it could be, cope. But when I see these maps that they've added in, dude, the screenshots just look good.
Mhm.
Like,
They
I
look
know
colorful.
it looks so, or sounds dumb saying that, like, really, but I don't know, they just have, like, they got a vibe to them. They don't look like completely trash maps. They remind me of Black Ops 3. Like, I'm getting, yeah,
Mhm.
like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 kind of vibe with them.
Yeah. I'm looking at like Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4 colors. Like they're nice and vibrant. And
Right.
which again, this is what we want. So
Yeah, they don't there's not, again, much information on them, but the new ones that we have with their Blackheart, Colossus, Homestead, and then the Forge, which, side note too, good names.
yeah,
Good names for a map.
one word.
Dude, I think naming maps is an underrated thing. You need a good name for a map. It needs to be one word. If your name has like two names to it, I think we start getting a little dicey. Um, like, remember there was like Zahira Outpost or something like that. Get out of here. Too
Yeah,
many,
yeah, yeah.
too many syllables. No one's gonna remember it. Like, or is it like
Or like
Zakir? Yeah, you
yeah.
can't have that.
Babylon. Like I know that's only one word, but like we don't need it to be that complicated. Vault,
Could have been
look at
ruins.
okay, vault. Look at that. Vault. I'll
I
always
know.
remember that.
Vault, Expressed, raid,
Yeah.
Yemen. Where's Yemen? Fucking Yemen.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. Yeah.
there's there's nothing that complicated about it. Like all these ones, Homestead. There's got to be a house on here. Like I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna get that. Colossus. I don't know. It just looks like a giant building. Same thing with the Forge. Like they all got good names and the screenshots look solid from them. But they haven't really given much regarding the size of them. When you look at them, most of them they just say medium. I want to see what like the Forge if that says. Yeah, I think they all say just they're a medium sized map. Um,
Perfect.
which
3-lane
yeah, what
maps.
exactly, like, that's the sweet spot of where you wanna be. Like, I'm kind of over having they're probably gonna throw in a couple of them, like some of those, MW2 derailed maps,
Yeah, yeah. I
where
mean,
they're just massive maps,
mhm,
which nobody likes, but they put them in there anyway.
mhm. Yeah, those are like they're adding like 20v20, those maps. But that's the thing. There's always a handful of those. But to, well, what's the word? Like be better than that is just make more maps.
Right.
Like eventually you're gonna get like pretty good maps. And um yeah, all these maps just off of the like thumbnail are all bright, colorful. They're adding face off and gunfight back, which I mean, you and I are big face off guys.
Mhm.
So it was funny. I was in Zuma's stream and he was like, "Dude, do people play gunfight and face off?" I'm like, that just shows like casual players love these game modes. Gunfight is the biggest party mode that
Phenomenal.
like everyone plays. Face off is great. 2v2s, like yeah, you and I jump into competitive, but face off is a way to be competitive and just like mess around when you only have two people and you don't have a squad of four.
Right.
So like it's just fun. And I really hope they bring back like the tournament style again because they're the ones that did that. So I mean, I'm amped for it.
All those game modes are so good, and I still don't understand why they get rid of these all the time. Like they just have them in, seasonally or like, I don't know because maybe there's some event going on. They keep them in. Like I was playing Black Ops 1. Maybe it was before we filmed last week. Um, and I amazingly found a match for Sticks and Stones, and just that whole system that they have, like with the money, like the whole game. I forget what they called it. It was
The
like,
COD
but it.
points
So what
or
was he in there?
COD points.
No, but well, it was like it was COD points, but there was no microtransactions. Like I mean, it was
Oh
all
yeah,
just
yeah. It was like
in
it was
in
bidding,
game.
right?
Yeah, but I forget. I thought it had some name to it. It must have. I'm blanking on it right now. But you had like gun game. You had sticks and stones. One in the chamber. And like it was all those modes that you could just go in there and gamble.
The
Oh,
party
if you
games,
wanted,
yeah.
yeah, if you wanted
Yeah.
to go and play this, you had to go and pay. Like 1,000 COD points to buy in. We'll just
Mhm.
call them COD points, wherever they were. You had to go and pay that much to buy into this. Well, and so you lose. Well, you lose all that, or if you win, you could win. But those modes in general are just so fun, especially too when you've got like your in-game currency attached to them.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, man, they were so smart back then. They just
Yeah.
were way ahead of the curve. They were ahead of the curve on the gambling thing in games, bro. They they
Hey, dude, you bet
they
your
knew.
own coin. You
Yeah,
earn
I
from the
know, but it's
game,
like
and
it's
it's like
not. Can you imagine now if they're like, "Oh, you want to go and buy COD points, like
you want
to
to bet
gamble
real
more?"
money.
Oh, bro, they
Yeah.
would make a killing. Back then, you
Hmm.
couldn't do any of that. It was just
Hmm.
in-game currency.
But the thing is like uh, outside of all the legal reasons, right? But it's like there's no incentive to like put in real money because like if
Yeah,
you win, unless you're able to withdraw, bro. Imagine if you could withdraw money. Like
you got
dude, we're
six
putting
million COD points. Like, dude, I got 20 grand.
dude, that's yeah, like you're putting in money and you bet like $1 or whatever, like
Yeah.
per game. That like you and I are gonna go dumb hard to win,
Oh yeah.
like face
Oh yeah.
offs, like $1 buy-ins, $5 buy-ins, $10 buy-ins. I'm like, we're not fucking losing. Like,
We're
and then
payday. We're like Justin,
dude,
$50. Let's do it.
and knowing that you can withdraw that, or like obviously a bunch of legal reasons behind it, but that would be sick if you could go and do that, and then you can't withdraw it, but you can use those points towards like buying exclusive skins or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Or this would be cool. You withdraw it for like PSN dollars.
I was
Use that
just
to
gonna
buy the
say,
next game
it
or
stays on
something.
your PlayStation account,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
So you could go and use it in the store.
yeah,
Bro,
dude.
we got some ideas,
Oh
right?
well, yo,
That would
Treyarch,
that would
we're on to something.
there would be a video like 15 years later, be like, the downfall of Call of Duty just became a gambling game. I'm like, look, have it be a section of COD, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
but again, I really enjoyed like despite all the gambling things, it's just fun to play those modes.
high
Um,
stakes. It's a number,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, it is because even with something like that where you don't have any actual money attached to it. In that game, if you wanted to go and buy gold guns, you had to use COD points to buy it. Like
Mhm.
everything in that game, you had to buy with your currency, which you just got from playing the game. Um, and or you could go into that, and it was like high stakes or something like that.
Yeah, high
There was like,
stakes.
yeah, there was like
Yeah,
different tiers of what you could do, but I
yeah.
forget
There's
now.
three. Yeah, there were like three tiers that you could do it.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, like
But it was great. It was so much
yeah,
fun.
yeah. They knew what they were doing, and like it's another way to be competitive when you're not really thinking about it being competitive, but just the fact that you're adding numbers to it does make it competitive because it means something. You know, that's
Yeah.
why when we play ranked and then we get like plus 10,000 SR, it's like we earned something from that. But if you can earn currency like through the game and then you can redeem that currency for something else, like that gives you like an even bigger stake into it
Yeah.
because now you
Yeah.
really, really care.
No, yeah, I mean, that's what I was doing because it was like I wanted to go and get this, it was the gold, 74U, and I couldn't afford it, and I'm like, "Let's put the money in." I'm like, "Let's do it,"
Yeah.
and thank God I won because there's a
Out of
bunch
the
of
money, in the
bots.
money.
Yeah, no, oh,
Yeah.
dude, that legit is the best sound ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Dude, right. Yeah.
anxiety when you're out of the money. I'm like,
Yeah. Dude, 10 seconds left. Tomahawk.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Bankrupt.
I'm throwing shit. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going crazy.
Uh,
But those modes though, it's good to see those back. I would hope not on like the COD point gambling thing because there's just no way they're gonna be able to work that out. But it would be nice to see something like that where they just have like those party modes, but they never leave. They only
mhm.
add
Yeah.
to it
Yeah.
as the life cycle goes on because for me and you, that's so much fun to play after. Like we'll play pubs to warm up, we'll play ranked, we'll fry, we'll get shit on, we end on a win, and then we're like, okay, let's go play some 2v2s or play something fun to just chill out for the night.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
You
that's what
know,
most people do, like
yeah.
at the end of the night too. And the 2v2s, like coming off of competitive, and like we're still playing competitively,
Oh
but
yeah.
like it's just a different level, obviously. Like we're trying, but
Yeah, we're calling out in 2v2
mo-
like a bunch
mo-
of sweats.
most people in 2v2s like are just not great.
Yeah.
So like, after you play a ranked game, you're just hyper aware of everything, you
Yeah.
know. And those are the best moments too. Like you got one life. You know, the amount of times you and I have clutched 1v2s to secure like the next round, and then we reverse sweep or like something like that.
Right.
There are so many times in Cold War we did that, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, those are again they're the best moments. And it's such a small thing for them to have in the game to create those moments, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way as well. And I hope that they just don't continue adding and then removing it and adding. I mean, we always talk about the one positive from Vanguard was Champion Hill, phenomenal, but they just kept in. Okay, it's gonna be 3v3 Champ Hill. Okay, it's gonna be 1v1 Champ Hill, 2v2. I'm like, bro, just keep them all in the game.
Yeah,
Like, I
give
don't
me
get
face
why.
off 3v3, 2v2, 1v1s
I mean,
playlist.
maybe that's because I'm naive and I don't understand how that works, but I don't. Someone would need to explain to me why they can't do that. Why you can't just have again face off 1v1 through 3v3,
Mhm.
and then if you want to do 4v4s, go play ranked,
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they did in MW3, the OG MW3. There was face off, and it
Yeah,
had all those.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How could they do it back in the day and now we can't do that?
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it.
they're they're taking away stuff that we already had.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it is to just have people or give people an incentive to return to the game. You
Mhm.
know, if you tease people with stuff like that, it's the same with all this, I don't want to go too far away, but like all this double XP stuff. Like I go on Twitter, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, quintuple
Yeah.
double XP. It's like battle pass, gobble gums,
Mhm.
player, everything's double XP. But they do it all the time, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel the same as compared to when you'd see Treyarch back in World at War. Those motherfuckers would put out, like, in the message of the day,
Yeah.
like, once every 3 months, "Double XP, starting this day, ending this day." You're like, "Dude."
Yeah. Clear your calendars.
I'm
You
like, "We're
have to
getting
play.
blessed, bro. They're gonna give us double XP." And it's
Yeah.
like, "Will you
Eh,
see it again? Who knows?"
yeah. Like I don't know. You can't take away from the customer when we
No,
already had it. Now you're
pay
just like,
$70.
yeah, you're holding something in front of us, like the
Yeah,
carrot on a string for us. Like
right.
we already had that. You can't take it away and then you know
Well,
show
I
it to
think
us.
well, I think they felt that way a little bit, not like, so much, but with the Vault Edition for those characters, like, that was some big thing, that they ended up redesigning it because I'd only assumed that people went and bought the Vault Edition right away and were disappointed to see what was actually in the game. They're
Mhm.
like, "Dude, we're paying extra money here, and we're trying to get all this, and this is what you give us?" Um and they must have gotten enough complaints, so they went and redesigned all, like, the characters that are in there. Um, I think it was a good redesign, but I don't know, man. I didn't think the first time when I look at it, I didn't really even think it was that bad. You
Yeah.
know,
I
I
mean,
was like, whatever.
yeah. I just got thing is like if you're just spending extra money, you obviously want to really like what you're getting. And
Right.
I was never the type of person to really spend extra money anyways on like these different like
Yeah.
digital editions specifically because usually you get like different skins. But I personally don't care at all for like any of those skins because in I don't know in my head those skins they are exclusive to that vault edition, but it's
Right.
not exclusive enough to me because anyone can go pay extra money to get it, and if you want to that's totally fine. But what makes me want to get like something like an exclusive skin is I want to grind for it. Let me grind out and do challenges that you have to work so hard for that it's like a rite of passage to have this skin.
Right.
You can't just
Right.
go and spend your money and get it. And that's why I like the point system in COD because adding a higher stakes in everything, it just makes it more fun. Some people don't like the pressure, but some people are built for
Because
it.
they can't handle it.
Yeah,
That's why.
pressure builds diamonds, and
Exactly.
that's how you get good at Call of Duty.
Yeah.
If
You,
you got $100 or 100 points on the line, or like you're playing in a 2v2 tournament, which I hope they bring back. Like,
mhm.
man, if there's a prize pool at the end for points, and then you can go and redeem those
Or
points,
skins.
or yeah, like I want that. I want that pressure.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, of course, and everyone knows, like, listening to us over the years, we don't buy shit. Like, I don't
Yeah,
we only, we only buy the breach, and that's it. Again, maybe if Snoop shows up every once in a while and I like the design of him, but I do get it from those people. They pay that money and then they see that and they're like, "Really? Like, that's what I'm gonna get?" But yeah, I don't know. That doesn't do anything for me compared to, like, what we're saying where, you know, I hate to point it out because it was such a disaster, but in MW2, when you got to max level and you got that skin, like, that's what I was hoping for. I was
yeah,
hoping that that skin would be so rad and everyone would be looking at it and, like, you don't see anybody using it, you know? And it's a flex to show that
Mhm.
off and be like, yeah, like, look what I got. You can't get this unless you hit level 1,000 or whatever it was in that game. Um, I don't really care too much for the paid skins. I see any of the skins that are out now, like, regardless of what the collab is, and I'm never looking at it being like, "Oh wow, that's so sick."
Yeah,
It's always when I see something that I'm not accustomed to. Like, I mean, man, the perfect example of that, honestly, like, where they just got skins down so perfect was Black Ops 3. All the time I'd be looking at people's characters, you
Mhm.
know, like whether it was in game or if you're in the lobby and you're just scrolling over and you're flicking through all the characters to see what people are rocking. That was the shit. That was
Mhm.
so cool because you'd see all these things, or you see the people who have all the gold characters, or if they've got some crazy rare skin on, like on the guy who does Scythe, you know. Um, that was way more interesting than just seeing some dude who's got like Beavis as his character. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you went and paid, way too much money for that. Congratulations. Like you have $20. Nice job. It,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything like, dude, you had to do these. It was same thing with the titles. Same thing with titles in MW2. You see a guy USP 45 with the gold
Yeah.
skulls on
Well,
there. I'm like, dude, this guy
yeah.
got
Yeah.
1,000 headshots with a
Yeah.
USB. Like, this dude's a freak.
Some people want to grind and work hard for it. Others want the easy path.
Yeah. Yeah.
That yeah, those skins again, it's like it's nerdy, but it's like a rite of passage, dude. If
It is.
you grind, you deserve that. Like you said, you look at these skin and COD is, Treyarch did it back then. You have your top pieces, your headgear, your
Your body, your
body,
whatever.
arms, legs, whatever, and you could mix match pair different things together and you could make your character yours and you could get really cool pieces by doing that. We don't do that anymore. Now it's just entire skins with collabs with whatever, and yeah, it's cool, but at the end of the day it's not really that exclusive. you know Anyone can really get it.
And you lose the individuality of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was endless amounts of customization that you could do to those characters back on what AW and Black Ops 3. You can go crazy on them. Now it's, you just get a character. And I don't see that being worth to pay for at all. I don't see any of that stuff to be worth really paying for. Um, we always go back to the Black Ops 3 way of what they did and like how they ended up doing that. I'm sure that system was devised around their whole, skin thing that they ended up doing in their guns.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked great.
Mm-hmm.
And they do this redesign for these people to help them out. And, you know, it's like, yeah, it's cool. Like I think it looks better than what it did before. But am I looking at that being like, dude, I should have bought the Vault Edition? Nah, no chance.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
no. And the thing is, right, like they'll probably never go and do something like Black Ops 3 again in terms
no,
of like customization. Maybe if like we spend money on individual pieces, but again, it all comes down to like the bottom line, right? Like they do
right.
these partnerships for, money. Uh and we have to, we as a community or Activision are like, you know what? Fuck the money, which that's never going to happen. But
Yeah,
because they're making way too much money, but there is one way to introduce like the same amount of money, if not more, and we get rid of these microtransactions.
yeah,
It's the betting.
yeah.
It is the gambling
What?
sort of COD points. Putting that in there and letting you deposit, you know, I don't know, like 10,000 COD points is $10, whatever, right? That is the way. If you can, dude, we play a high roller. That's what it was. Um, Let me bet 10,000 points on this match right here to double it.
Dude, I have to look up what that mode was called because I don't know if it was called High Roller. I'm totally blacking out on what that was. Black Ops, dude. We need to figure out what I'll probably do it afterwards. I can't even remember what it was, but yeah, the high roller was the top dollar thing
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
can go crazy with. But no, dude, that we shouldn't have said that because that is dangerous. Like that is
it,
a great
it
it's a
is
great
dangerous.
idea. It's a good idea,
We don't promote gambling.
No, 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 don't promote it at all. Again, you don't have it be part of the game. It's just a
Mhm.
separate, like, they call it like
Wager
Degen mode.
matches. Is it wager matches?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Wager matches. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. If you have wager matches, like, but it's its own thing, and they give you a little, like before you started up, no Russian, they give you a
Mm.
little warning saying, like,
Okay.
gambling. This is a gambling
Ah.
thing. This is a no
And
21 plus. Um, and then you go into it, and it's its own thing where, hey, if you want to be throwing down cash, like you said, it's like, hey, I'm going to go and deposit $20 on there. Let's go and wager. Everyone's put 20 bucks in. You win $100. I mean, man, you could go
well, yeah.
crazy with that.
I I wonder what the legality is, because technically it is like you have to be an adult to gamble, but like,
How old is
wh-
that? 21 though, or 18?
yeah, I think it is 21 in most states, but uh, it's weird, right? Because like they can't call it money, right? I'm sure there's a way around it, but you can't say, like, you can't withdraw it. I'm sure that's what it is. You can't withdraw like what you have in your account.
We call
That
them
would
points.
that would make it, well, yeah, they couldn't call it like money. There's no way you'd be able to withdraw it from your account, because at that point,
V-Bucks.
like, yeah, um, but like, right, the
Yeah.
reason why you can buy skins is because um it's a good, right? You're spending your money and you're getting something in return. In
Yeah.
this is you're paying yourself. You don't get anything in return. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the fact that there
There
would
is
be
no
people who could be
service.
profiting off of Black Ops 7 or just off of Call of Duty in general,
Mhm.
I mean, there's no way they would want that.
Well,
At the
yeah,
end of
yeah,
the
yeah,
day,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
all in the red, like, we all spent $70 on it. Can you imagine if there's some guy out there who's been gambling? He's like, "Dude, I paid for my kid's college tuition just through
Yeah,
the wager matches in
yeah.
Black Ops 7."
Well,
Like, it would be
so
mental.
that's the thing. They wouldn't be able to. We wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
withdraw money if that was the
withdraw
thing.
it, right.
But if they could do this and make exclusive skins. That's like my whole thing, you know,
Right.
because it's not, the activity itself is probably gambling, but it's not like we're taking the money out. Like, if I want a skin that's 100,000 points, and the only way to get it is by earning points, like GTA style, right? Like, you just got to grind it out. That's perfect. Um, and I looked up the wager matches tiers: anti up, lowest;
Yep.
weekend gambler. Yeah,
Weekend
you
gambler,
can't call it
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You
Weekend
cannot call it that.
gambler.
And then high roller.
Gotcha, yeah,
I
okay.
was either an anti up or high roller. I never did weekend
I never go
gambler.
for the middle. Nah, nah. It's
Yeah.
like you're either in for a penny or a pound. Like, you're not going in
Yeah.
the middle there. Yeah. Now, I agree though. There's no way they could have it where it would be ideal where we all win. It's not going to happen, but um I don't know, you could also develop like a secondary currency, like where to your point about developing certain things that are available only for this kind of currency, which you earn in the wager matches.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, you go and you put down some money or whatever, or maybe you earn it at a really slow rate through playing games, but then you can use that and you can gamble with that money. And then what they would end up doing is maybe providing, skins or camos that are exclusively unlocked using that money, or,
Mhm.
or like if there are people, of course, they would have it. So you can use that or COD points. I hate to say that it'd be the same like with, what is it? With Assassin's Creed, but that kind of thing where they were used to do, I don't know if they still had the currency, but it was like Helix credits
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like, "Oh, yeah, if you want, you could use $20 to buy this, or you can use 6,000 Helix credits." I'm like, "Well, 6,000 Helix credits is $20." And I'm like, "Well, that's our point." So it's
Oh,
up to
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
as to how you wanna go about it. You wanna try to grind or find a way to unlock Helix credits, or do you wanna just go and pay the money,
Mhm.
and get this exclusive?
Well, yeah, and right, that's what like Hex is a big advocate of that, because which makes sense. Like, he doesn't have the time to like grind out and play it, right?
Right,
So
right.
he wants the ability because he can go and just spend the money to buy it, which
Yeah.
that's totally fair.
Mhm.
But I just think the act of, I don't know, adding like pressure to it, like adding pressure to games, makes it way more fun. And
It does.
if you don't like the pressure, that's fine. Go play pubs. But
Yeah.
there's just something about like winning a tournament. That's why all these guys compete. There's
Yeah.
something like we will, we'll come back in a ranked match and we're hyped for
Oh yeah.
nothing. We just
Oh,
got
bro.
like 50 SR.
Yeah, dude, the dopamine hits no matter what. And there's been those 2v2s where we're down, you know,
Oh,
0-5 and
yeah.
we walk it back and it's like we think we just won COD champs, you know.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling ever.
Oh five,
Um,
1v2, one of us
yep,
just extends
clutch
it to the
up.
next round. That's all we
Yep.
needed.
Yeah, yeah. We're just like, yeah, we're good. These guys are dog shit.
Yeah.
Like,
We just needed
no,
one.
I look forward to that returning. I mean, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be fun for us and everybody else because you know, though multiplayer in pubs is the main place where everyone's gonna be. All those little modes do help out a lot with the longevity of the game. Um, it keeps people occupied and it keeps people interested in it. I feel that once they start getting rid of that stuff, that's where people just completely drop off, you know, or they don't want to be playing that much. And then when you mention that they're bringing it back, well, they haven't played in a month, so they don't
Mhm.
really care anymore, you know. Um, but we will see with it. But I think it'll be. I think they'll keep it in. Just assuming based off of Treyarch and like their, I don't know, their path of what they're doing here. I'm hoping that they're gonna be like, okay, these modes are here and they're here to stay. And if
Yeah.
that's the case, then that's good for us.
Yeah.
But
I would
uh,
totally agree.
I wanted to shift quickly too, since I wanted to chat a little bit about it regarding our CDL news. There wasn't a ton that came out, but there were a few things, just confirmations to stuff we talked about. And I think it was 238 where we did our whole breakdown on Roster Mania. Is Celium officially to the Falcons? I will never get used to this, Justin, just as a heads up. There's no way. And then the other one that's not as crazy is Envoy and Ghosty. They both got dropped from Thieves, which again was to be expected. I believe they're going to be signing with was it the Gentlemates team.
Mhm.
More than likely, we'll expect that probably sometime in the next handful of weeks. Who knows? Um, but dude, I just had to mention this because we hadn't even talked about this, bro. When I saw that announcement for Celium on the Falcons, that has to, and just going on his profile thing where it says like, Falcon Celium,
Yeah.
it is so weird. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know if I'm ever gonna get used to seeing that dude on that team in those colors. It is we knew it was coming, but to see it actually there, it's like, whoa, it's very strange.
Yeah. I think, you know, just seeing any big name player in any sport go to a different team, it's just the shock values there.
Hmm.
And yeah, seeing it officially announced is weird, but just wait until like all the rosters are officially locked going the season, and it's like the CDL is going to be completely different going into Blackout 7.
Yeah.
Nothing is the same.
Which is so awesome, right? Like it's
Mhm.
the best. I love how we have these years like now because even like last year, there are some shifts that happen with teams, no doubt. But like you said, the landscape of the CDL is going to be so different with every single team
Mhm.
minus Optic. That's the only one that's going to be the same. But every other major team out there, and even all the small teams, I don't think anybody's staying the same. And I don't
Mhm.
think they're just doing one person changes. I think we're going to be seeing these, you know, two at the very least, but seeing these 3 and 4 player changes where these teams are unrecognizable.
Mhm. And I think with like Optic, you can argue that they're still such a new team. We really got to see a handful of matches with them. Now we
Right.
get to go in to see, this team as full season, hopefully, right? And see what
Fingers
they're
crossed.
what they're made of. Like obviously they won champs and everything, but it'll be good. Like I'm excited for the teams. But I saw rumors too of the Rocker team that they're gonna keep. They're keeping Estriel, and the rumor was that they're gonna grab Kremp. Uh, it was gonna be Slasher, but now they're going with Skies and then Gwyn. So there
Mm.
will be no Slasher. It's gonna be Skies, and I guess they're taking Gwyn over Slasher. And Gwyn will be moving to a flex instead of a
Okay.
sub. So
Sub, yeah.
Astriel and Kremp will stay as subs, Gwyn as a flex, and Skies as a main. I don't know how I like that team personally. It's like, well, I have no idea how Gwyn was really good on a sub.
I was gonna say,
Don't
I thought
so
I don't know, I don't remember him with an AR. I don't know how he was.
yeah, he never played as a flex. So it's
Yeah,
like it's
unknown.
interesting. I think though, like Rocker is one of those teams though where they could have done a big shakeup and just be like, screw it, we're taking a huge risk, just picking up a bunch of amateur players. And as of right now, it seems like they're not going to do that. Not and like Kremp is a really good player, Gwen's a really good player. Like all those guys are good. It's just, are they really going to work together well? You know, it's like
Yeah,
it. Oh, what's the saying? It's like it's something about like they're all great individual players, but they're not a team. Something along
right.
those lines. Like
Like the
that's what
sum of the parts don't or something like
it's
that,
something like.
I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
Surge, they were a team. They're great individuals, but they're not like a phase.
Right,
Those are great individuals. Surge, they are a team, and that's why they
right.
won. Like,
Yeah.
why they made the finals.
Right. Some of these teams that are getting thrown together now, I mean, it seems like that, right? They're just getting kind of randomly pieced together. And I think of with Kremp and Gwyn being on that Cloud9 team, because one of those other rumors too was about Cloud9, just
Mm-hmm.
how they're going to be paying everyone basically the minimum. Like their budget is so low this year that I guarantee people that maybe were thinking about Cloud9, I don't know how long they knew of that information, but if they recently heard that that was the deal, like, look, you're going to be getting paid the minimum on here, like, we're really struggling, it would not surprise me if a lot of people were just like, yeah, see you later, like, not happening, and looking around being like, hey, we're now available if you'd like us.
Oh yeah, I mean like,
Um,
and nothing's locked in. Obviously, I'm sure. Like I saw this news yesterday,
right.
so like roster mania is still into effect. Besides, I'm sure like all the top teams, like they're already locked down for the most part. I
Yeah,
would be
again,
surprised if like I did hear rumors though that Envoy might not be going to General Mates. Don't
really.
know how
Wow.
true that actually is. Like I haven't heard like who the alternative would be, but like this happens. Random switch ups happen like right before because someone screws someone else over, right? Which is
Bro, if
kind of
he
what
does,
happened with Slasher.
if he, yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen to Slasher? I have a unfortunate feeling that this is going to be a very tough year for him.
Yeah, well,
Um,
he's got to be. I mean, it's tough. He's the only guy in the Ravens right now, technically, right?
right,
So,
right.
but he has the keys. He can build any team he wants. But who's left? And like, does he really want to be in that position of like trying to build up a team rather than like competing for a championship? Like he wants a developed team, not a team where he has to help them grow.
Right. And you have to consider, like, again, I don't know what the situation is with the Ravens regarding how much they're paying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and especially too with having Slasher on that team. If he's going to stick with that team, which I would assume he is, I would be really surprised if he's getting paid the minimum.
Oh
And if
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
teams are already on a tight budget and they got somebody like Slasher on there who I mean, I would be shocked if he's playing for less than 100K a year. I mean, I'd be mind blown,
yeah,
just
yeah.
because of how
Mm-hmm.
how much he's been in the scene and what he's
Yeah.
done. So then from there, who do you really get? If they are struggling for money, that it's going to be tough to try to piece a solid team together. That, to your point, he's not developing a bunch of amateurs. Like he would only want people that have played in the league and are solidified, and he can kind of mold them to the play style that he wants to have, but not like a Clayster with the Falcons situation,
Yeah.
where he's going to teach all these guys how to play the game.
Yeah, or get like insane talent right away. Like you're watching these guys and like, okay, they're a different player just based on how they're playing.
Right. Right.
And yeah, the money thing, like I think everybody expected, people are getting paid like a ton of money every year. It keeps going down and down and down
Right.
because there's no profits like coming out of this.
Yeah.
Um, like in terms of business, like it's tough. I think Celium made the right move because he probably got paid a bag to just
Oh
go
yeah.
over there, like a
Yeah.
huge bag.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. I mean, like he's a great player and he's probably setting himself up to be like a core member of that team, obviously. So it'll be good. But then, like realistically though, I think Slasher at this point, like he's not playing for the money, you know. Like he does want to win. I don't think he would be playing this long to just, you know,
Collect a paycheck. No.
collect a paycheck, which I'm sure some players maybe they are, right? And if they are, that sucks because you want to be part of a team. You don't want to be just like an individual collecting a paycheck. Um, Slasher's still playing because he believes he has a chance of winning a championship. And like realistically, all the guys that have retired recently, they're still good enough to play in the league. It's just they're not passionate about the game anymore, right? Like they came into a place where they don't have the right teammates around them. Like they're kind of tired of it. And then, yeah, I'm sure money probably played a role into it. But a lot of the guys that are older that have retired, like they set themselves up pretty well. Like I'm sure Slasher set himself up very
Oh yeah,
well. Like if
no
he got
doubt.
paid the minimum and he got like a couple like good guys around him, I'm sure he would still play just because he knows he has a chance of winning.
Right. That's what it just comes down to, right? Is the chance, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that you have a chance and you can, maybe if you know, that's why I'm not a competitor like in Call of Duty, but thinking, if I'm not going to win, I'm going to make it to Sunday and I can make good money. You could always think about it like that as well, but knowing that you would have a chance to actually win events and for those guys too, like it has to be the mindset of we're going to win tournaments,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think personally you should be competing in anything if you don't have a mindset like that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
but it
mean,
you're gonna say.
I'm gonna say like we're not competing for money, but that's how like we feel going into any rank game and
Yeah,
any like we're gonna
yeah,
win. There is
yeah,
no doubt in my mind anytime I load into a rank game that I'm gonna lose.
right,
That may
right,
be
right,
egotistical and but like
yeah,
that's how Call of Duty players are. Until you
right,
face your match, like I'll give you your flowers, but before that happens,
yeah,
like your ass
yeah. My
till
only
we play.
asterisk to that is if, God forbid, if we ever loaded up against Scump and the homies,
Yeah.
that might be one
Well,
where I'm like, yeah, we're cooked.
Well, if we load into any pro players, like it's tough because we've
Yeah,
already seen them, and then like you go in.
right,
That's the thing. Imagine if like you play competitive, you don't watch the CDL at all, and you just go in and you just play your game because you start
right.
getting into your head
We
immediately.
we did beat our cities and Abizi though. We did
Yeah,
beat them once.
at their prime too. They
Yeah, in
were the
their prime.
champs. Yeah,
We did beat them once.
yeah,
Not saying they were trying, but we did beat them one
we
time.
did beat them. We'll take
So
that.
yeah, no, you have to have that mentality. And again, for those guys like Slasher and all the veterans, like no doubt they still have that, but it's just gonna be a matter of um, you know, obviously they're getting older and their priorities may shift and they're like, okay, it's been a couple of years in a row here where I haven't really been able to connect the dots with the team. How long do I want to keep doing this? And when is it that you maybe slip into this realm where, yeah, you're now stuck on these teams, you know?
Mhm.
Like, Slasher had his insane moment where he got pulled to phase and everyone was like, what the fuck? It was crazy and ended up winning with them. And even just last year with the Ravens, like they weren't a bad team. They could have done a lot more. They were like almost there. And I believe that he feels that and knows he's like, look, I had this team, like we were good.
Dude,
We
he
could
was the best
definitely,
player on that team.
yeah, like we definitely could have done a lot more. So he knows he still has it. But this is going to be a pivotal year for him to see if this team that he has, if they end up doing nothing, I think that's going to be really tough for him. He's going to be looking around being like, all right, what's the next move? Do I sit it, like
Mhm.
stay in the game and hope that this year was just a fluke, or is this now the trend for my career?
Yeah, like I don't think he'll compete if he doesn't know that he has a chance, right? Like
Yeah, I think so too.
whatever the three people around him, he's not gonna play if he's like, look, this ain't happening.
Right.
Even if you look at that Carolina team, like, they ended up being really bad, but like they were good in the beginning and he was the best player. And I'm sure he was pissed that he was the best player. Because at this
Yeah.
point in his career, like he signed up because Gwyn, that talent, like
Right.
that young
Right.
talent, he's insane. He's gonna help me and I'm gonna help mold him into like a better player,
Yeah.
and play the game fundamentally correct. That didn't happen. He became the best player on that team, which I'm sure is great, but also it's like, damn, Like,
I shouldn't be.
yeah, we need the rooks or the young guns to like develop into like really good players. That's what you
Right.
want.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. So we shall see what happens with him going into this year, because again, we'll be talking a lot more about roster mania with just these, announcements to come and fill out the top teams, which won't be really any crazy news other than just actually seeing it.
Mhm.
But a lot of it is going to be the stuff in the middle to the bottom tier. So when we get that information, we'll definitely be talking about it, because I look forward to seeing how the rest of the field looks going into Black Ops 7 for sure.
I have a
But
feeling we won't even know, like, even by the beta. Like, beta's
nah,
gonna come, we're not gonna know. I think we're gonna know like, oh, like 2 weeks before the
yeah,
game comes out for like
I think
the
so too.
bottom half of the league.
Yeah, unless they get some, crazy intel leaks. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be with the way things are, with the way they're talking about it. I think it's going to be very last minute. But
Yeah.
you never know.
Or they're playing the beta and all four players are that's gonna happen.
The
Like,
trash.
no, we're not teaming and
Yeah,
we're all playing together.
yeah. They're like, absolutely not. We're gonna go and figure out another team, because this
Yeah.
team, this ain't happening. If
This
we're
is not
playing like this
happening.
on the beta, forget about it.
Yeah. Sketch on a
But
teammate
yeah, right. You're hitting people up. You're like Neptune looking for a
while
new
it's
team right
happening.
off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, man, I think that's just about it for everything we wanted to cover there. I mean, again, you guys can all look at the Black Ops 7 maps that we were looking, because they just have them all linked everywhere. But we'll talk about more of those hopefully as we get more information and we get closer to COD next. We'll be hopefully seeing more gameplay, talking about them, because I want to see as much of this game as I can before I actually play it. And let us know too down in the comments on YouTube about the gambling thing. Are we on the right track? Are we cooked?
We
I think
don't
we may have hit
endorse
a gold mine.
gambling.
Yeah,
We
we don't
endorse
endorse it, of course. Gamble responsibly.
having fun. It's
Yeah,
just,
exactly. We're just about here having fun. We're trying to. This is for the greater of the game, Justin.
this is just
The
a
greater.
transaction. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
exactly. It's just business. It's just
Yeah.
business. That's all it is. But yeah, I think that'll do it for us, huh?
Yeah.
So, again, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this episode, number 240 of the COD Casuals podcast. Be sure to go to anchor.fm/COD Casuals, since we're there on all streaming platforms. Of course, going to the YouTube, being sure to like, comment, subscribe over there, as well as going to Instagram and TikTok, since we're over there posting shorts. Be sure to give us a follow over there, since that means a lot to us. And then, of course, on Spotify in general, 5-star rating. It
5
helps
stars
us out.
only.
5 stars only, none of the 4-star bullshit. It helps us out to be the number one Call of Duty podcast on the platform, which we're working towards. So we need you. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. So again, everybody, thank you for listening to episode number 240 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike.
I'm Justin.
And we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.